Hey everybody, this is your boy John, aka Captain Lestache here, and today's episode of Geeks From The Multiverse, we're going to be talking about all things possession / demonic possessions and weirdness. Anyways, but we're going to have a little warning statement here, so just stay tuned for this. Before we begin, we must issue this content warning, and in this episode we'll be discussing demons and demon possessions in films, which may be unsettling for some. Our attitude with most topics we cover is to just suck it up and deal with it. So yes, today we're not going to be doing that. Today we're going to take this very seriously, and it's not going to be taken lightly, okay? And so whether you believe in demons or not, please listen at your own discretion. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, this is your boy John again, aka Captain Lestache, and with me is
Matt, aka Mr. Grumpy Beard. What's up, everybody?
So I'm giving it a new name. Okay, so like I said, we got Mr. Grumpy Beard and we got Captain Lestache. You know, I came up with it a little bit ago, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. You know, if it doesn't really work, I'll change it up. It's whatever. I just want to give it a shot.
You can comment Captain Lestache on all of his social medias, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, whether you like it or not for now. I mean, it's a work in progress, okay? I'm just working with it. I just thought it was creative. It is what it is. But anyways, so, you know, Matt, I know that this topic, okay, we just mentioned this a minute ago, but yeah, it's not something that I normally would talk about as just free willy-nilly with people, you know, per se, because this whole
No, I mean, stuff, you know, being one that, you know, because I do work for a haunted attraction. I usually will say haunted house, but it's not like a house. It's a haunted attraction. Actually, right here in Nashua,
New Hampshire.
So you know, I do love horror. I love the genre. I love Halloween. Like I love all of this scary shit. Like I'm down for it. You know what I mean? Like, but when it comes to actually like talking about demons and demonic possession, it is one of those things that like is more serious, and like I don't take it very lightly, like only because like, do I think I'm going to be possessed like the Exorcist? No, I don't think that that's going to actually happen, but I've seen enough like shit that I would be like, is it plausible? It certainly is. And I mean, obviously being a Christian, we know that, you know, we know the stories in the Bible and we know like the crap that happened in the Bible. So it's like, yeah, I don't want any of that negativity and evil to attach to myself.
Right. And here's the other thing too, that I know I'm going to mention really for, I would say, hopefully the both of us here. So yes, I know we don't normally talk about, you know, religious, you know, pieces in our you know, podcast and whatnot, but like yes, I mean the thing is that yes, both him and I, we do attend church. He attends a bit more than I do lately, and I know I've been slacking. I know I'm just a bad Christian. I'm sorry, but anyways, no, I mean, no. The thing is though is that, you know, I do agree with Matt. I mean, there's just things in life that, you know, we have these unexplained phenomenons in life that we just, you really can't explain. And like, this is one of them that, you know, I would never want somebody to, you know, honestly ever get possessed. I mean, first of all, like when you watch movies and you watch like how it happens and like, you know, I always make, it's not really a joke here, but like, I always think of like, you know, how like Ghost, like Casper, you know, like they just like go into people and do that like that, you know, it was kind of like that friendly way of doing it. But like, like I said, when you were talking about, I mean,
like, when you think of like your worst real life, I'm not talking like, you know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like a movie. I'm talking like real life serial killers, or I mean, recently in New Hampshire, there's at least 2 children that have died horrifically, and you're like, how is this not that? Like, how is this like not attached to some kind of a evil or demonic? Like, how does somebody go from, and I get it, like that they've lived a terrible life. You can call it mental health. You can call it what you want to, But at the end of the day, when you have an apartment and your fridge is full of body parts and heads and you're eating people's organs, it's hard to not correlate.
Oh no,
some kind of a demonic force there.
No, I agree. I mean, the thing is that yes, with both Matt and I also being in, mental health and that addiction kind of like fields, it's like, yeah, everyone has their low points, right? They have their, I wouldn't say like possessions of like, these thoughts that they just come into their brains and they go, oh, I'm just gonna up and shoot one day, like or like kill somebody or
right.
Shoot up and do whatever. It's not that. What we're saying is like, when you go from one extreme to the other, so like you could be, really depressed, you can be all this stuff. That's kind of normal everyday stuff. But then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, we're just gonna flip a switch in my brain, and then all of a sudden I'm just gonna kill the living fuck out of everything. And it's like, okay, well, you just went from one end to the other really quick. And like, how do you get there? So like, this is what we're talking about with these kind of possession things. It's like,
yeah, I mean,
sometimes it just happens. And
we are going to be talking more of film and not really
so
real life, although we will be kind of talking about, exorcisms and the differences between like the two different types, because there are different types of exorcisms. But more or less, we are talking about like, demons and demonic possession in films, not so much in real life. I don't really want to get there. We may dig into it in the next episode when we talk about ghost and the paranormal.
Yes, I know. I was joking like Casper and things like that.
But like a lot of this is going to be films. But John, I did want to kind of break a little bit before we get into the conversations.
Yes, I know we talked about this.
We did want to start a social media contest.
Yes.
And we're aiming for November 5th as the start. And so what is what we're planning? So over a 4-week period in November, we want to choose the top 3 most active listeners to win one of our custom sticker packs that I put together. And I got to say, like, these packs are pretty, like, the stickers in these packs are pretty awesome.
Now, I haven't seen them yet, but I would love to just kind of like try one out. But I've already seen a couple of stickers, and I'm like, all right, they're pretty good.
They're pretty awesome. I mean, they're like memes, like all the different memes that you would have seen, on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. 2 of our podcast logo stickers are in there.
Oh,
and then there's a couple, there's an extra little thing in a few of the packs. So if you get one of those, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
So, what is the contest? How do you win? Okay. So every Monday, usually we will post a new episode post on Facebook. It also goes on Instagram, and you can earn points by commenting, liking, sharing, following, subscribing to like any of our social channels, which is, Facebook, Instagram. We have TikTok, we have Twitter. Obviously, we're on Spotify and YouTube.
Hell, we're even on LinkedIn. Okay, so you can even go.
You don't have to go there, but
just saying that's if you want to.
So each action does count as a point. So say on Monday, when we have that new episode post, you can like the post for a point. You can like and comment, then you get 2 points. If you like, comment, and share, you get 3 points. So you can participate all week long, Monday through Saturday. And we're not asking you to spend like hours each day. Like, I got to go to Facebook and Instagram and then TikTok and then Twitter. No, you don't have to do that every day.
No, and we're also going to say it like this. We know that really, it takes what? Maybe...
To like, comment, and share a Monday post probably takes you like less than a minute.
Right. I would say like 30 seconds.
And even if you just said yay with 3 letters.
And you can do an emoji. I mean,
or do like a poop emoji and be like,
you guys suck. I mean, that's fine.
You don't even have to say you suck. Just do a poop emoji and like and share, and then you're good. Boom. 3 points right there. And that probably took you all of 2 seconds to do. And that's what we're asking you. You don't have to do it every day, but it's like the more that you do, the more points that you earn, the more of a chance you have to win one of these sticker packs. And you could win every week.
It's true.
And you could win every week. So that's kind of the thing. Like, commenting on our podcast episodes on Spotify or on YouTube, the more that you do, the more of a chance that you have. And then basically before the end of the week, so on Saturday or Friday, you can send us a quick message saying, hey, I have this many points. We're expecting you to be honest. Now, if you send us a message and be like, hey, I got 50 points this week, we're probably going to call bullshit.
And I'm going to look at you and be like, let me see the proof on this one, but okay.
But you can send us a brief message saying like, hey, I commented, on your post. I made comments on your Spotify. I have 10 points this week. Great. We will write your name down. We will track it. And then on Sunday, we will pick basically the top 3 people, and you will win a sticker pack. And what's important about the message is that it allows us to connect with you, to tell you that you've won, so that we can get your contact info to send you these stickers, right?
Right. And the other big thing here, too, on top of what Matt's saying, is that it gives us a chance to be able to get you guys to get more involved, because at the end of the day, we've been talking about this for a while now. Like, we want you guys to reach out to us, be able to do all these things, because this is just another way of saying like, hey, we appreciate you by now you allowing us to give you something in return, but like, hey, you're helping us to spread the word, do the same thing. It's not really like a quid pro quo here, but it's like, hey, you're connecting, we're connecting, here we are, let's do this. It's that simple.
That's exactly what it's about. I mean, we want to connect with you, and at the end of the day, you guys have social circles that we just don't have. So that helps us. And, I mean, like I said, these stickers are really awesome, and you're getting them for free.
Right. I mean, no offense. I mean, it's
at the end of the day, you're going to be getting them for free for maybe 5 minutes worth of work throughout the week.
Right. And I mean, like, again, we're giving back to you guys. You're helping us.
And you probably only have 7 people to compete with. So,
so you don't really have a much of a competition. I mean,
there's probably more than 7 people, but I mean, like I said, the more that you're able to do and the more points that you can earn, the better of a chance you have. But we are looking at November 4th. So all through November, which is the month of giving. And this is exactly what we want to do. We want to give you guys something. And by just a small amount of participation, you're going to be able to get some pretty awesome stickers.
Exactly.
I think some packs have like 19, which is quite a bit.
Yeah. So my point is, boys, girls, whatever you want to be called, like I've been saying before, get on this and start doing it now.
Yeah, we're going to put more information on our social pages and everything. We're going to be probably, sharing this, every week until the start of it. So you'll get more information.
The one last thing that I want to say is this. So typically, yes, on the podcast, because we already record a lot of this stuff ahead of time, we'll more likely announce the winners on social media, not so much on the podcast, because we know that it's not.
Yeah, we're usually either behind or ahead. So we will announce them during the episodes, but you may not hear it that given week. You may hear it the very next week.
Right. So like that's the thing. And so it's either going to be on social media at first and then maybe going to the podcast. But like, again, it all depends. Either way, whoever wins, we'll let you know and we'll make sure to give it.
If you win, you will be notified, and then we will connect, and we'll get your address and we'll send them out, via snail mail. And
fucking, I don't care if a pigeon carrier just comes in and we just send it off for like.
I don't have any pigeons, John, but
Well, you know what? We'll start it if that's the case. We'll bring it back, man. I don't care. Anyways, let's get into the history of this.
What's interesting is like demonic possession in films really like it traces back all the way to The Exorcist, which was in 1973.
So it really doesn't have a long necessarily history.
I mean, all the movies like before then, like demons being in films were not a new concept. It was the idea of expelling them.
Okay.
It was extremely rare until The Exorcist came out. See, like most of the early films either hinted at a demonic force, or they were like the demon was actually like the actual devil or Satan himself. So it wasn't like you were actually getting a demon that needed to be expelled by somebody. And I mean, I would say most religions have some kind of a concept of demonic possession. I mean, you're talking Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Wicca, Hinduism, Islam, even Haitian voodoo. Voodoo, bitch.
Friggin' Dead Island, if you don't know. No, because I was about to say, I'm glad you mentioned voodoo, because I'm like, that is probably the only one that I would say most people...
Chucky, baby.
Well, yeah, not even. I don't even get me started.
We're gonna get there later. We're gonna get there later.
No, but what I was gonna say real quick is that with voodoo, it's like that is some freaky deaky shit, man. That is like you don't want to fuck around. No, personally,
Haitian voodoo. No, you don't want to. No,
you don't want to mess around with that. But anyways,
some of these. I mean, the only one I think on this early list of movies. All these movies were before
our time. Both of our time.
They're all before our time, obviously, but they're all before The Exorcist. And I think really the only one that actually is on this list that deals with demonic possession is King of Kings, that was in 1927. This was a silent film by Cecil D. DeMille, and it actually features Jesus delivering Mary Magdalene of 7 demons, which represent the 7 deadly sins. But that's like, a lot of those early movies, like that's what you got. You actually got movies that was religious in nature.
Well, it's funny how, if you think about it, like all these movies in general, I mean, yeah. And I mean, a lot of these, I would say they're mostly based on Christianity, and so like when you even look at The Exorcist.
Well, that's more on the Catholic side, but yes.
But it's still Christianity. It doesn't matter whether it's Catholic or subsect of it.
Yeah, but Catholic and Christianity are a little bit different.
They're different, but but here's the thing: they're all technically the same. It's the subsection of it. That's literally all it is. But yeah.
Le Meneur. Gosh, I'm terrible.
Please, I want you go ahead. Keep going.
Why the fuck do I always have to pronounce these things?
Well, because you do so great at them. Just like the last one.
Yeah.
Do you want me to try?
Sure.
Do you want me to help you?
Go for it.
Great. I was because I think he tried it before. But anyways, from my interpretation of this is
La Meneur du Diable.
So I was thinking, La Meneur du Diable. Like that's what I would think.
That's worse than what I said.
Well, I mean, I was trying to be French there, but that didn't help me out. No, but what was
the manure do?
No. Hold on. Before you go any further, what was that thing you were going to try to mention? Like, I'm blue. Like. No,
I'm not mentioning.
Yeah, what about you did like no. La Menor de.
Anyways, that movie was made in 1896. It was a 3-minute short film, and it's considered by many to be the very first horror movie.
That is insane.
1896. It features a haunted castle, ghosts, skeletons, and a transformation into the devil. Granted, this is a 3-minute short film.
I would love to just see it, just to get an idea of what it looked like.
I bet it sucks.
I mean, I guarantee it sucks, but I'm just saying I would love to just kind of see the concept of the idea. And then, we already talked about the Kings of Kings, but the Rosemary's Baby, which you said that you did see.
Rosemary's Baby, I can say, I mean, listen.
Yeah, 1968, just so you guys know.
Horror movies in the 60s and the 70s are not like your horror movies that were like 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Today.
Okay, like a lot of the 60s and 70s horror movies, maybe with the exception of The Exorcist, because that was really kind of like fast moving and had some really horrific moments in it, but like they're very slow moving and not like suspenseful and like you're waiting for like
I would assume the cheesy, like it kind of corny, like it was like
it's more suspenseful, like it keeps you on edge, but it's not like you get the jump scares or like the really gory shit. Like that was what Rosemary's Baby was. It was like psychological in nature, because you have this like woman who's obviously her name is Rosemary, and she gets pregnant, but basically the baby that's inside of her is the son of Satan.
Mm.
And so
it's not the Antichrist.
You never actually see her give birth, but it's basically the torment and the paranoia of basically having this evil child within her that makes the movie like really horrific. But it's boring. Like for a horror movie, like you go to watch it today, it's boring. But in '68,
it must have been scary as all hell.
Oh, that probably was scary as hell. And you were watching it like, oh, what's she going to do next?
It's just like watching Jaws, but now it's so different. But anyway, yeah, but like, okay. So this next one, even though it was 3 years later, Blood on Satan's Claw, a group of kids dig up a corpse that was once possessed by a demon.
Yeah. So this one, these kids dig up a corpse and they don't know like that the corpse was actually possessed by a demon. And I guess what happens is like this demon actually possesses the entire town.
Oh,
yeah,
lovely.
Yeah, so that's that's pretty much what happens in that movie.
And I'm assuming it's very slow.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, John.
Oh, neither have I. So I wouldn't know. I'm just asking you.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but it was one of those ones that was early before The Exorcist, and I'm sure there's many others that. Either feature Satan or feature some kind of a demonish looking creature. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the movies, like very, very early on, were not necessarily about possession until the Exorcist came out. And this is kind of like, I guess, our segue into exorcisms, because that was when The Exorcist came out, like that was kind of the craze. When that movie came out, suddenly exorcisms were the popular thing. And in the Catholic Church, there's really two different kinds, and it's a minor and a major. And the minor is kind of like, it's if the church thought you were possessed, they did not perform a minor exorcism on you. This was more of like a blessing. It was meant to like break the influence of a demonic force in your life. And the example is like when you get baptized.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Like, so when you're a baby and you're like, oh, hey, look, let's baptize this child, blah, blah, blah. Or like, I guess when you get an adult and you say, hey, I want to be rebaptized or something.
In the Catholic Church, they do Ash Wednesday.
Okay. Yep.
Where you would go and they basically would anoint your forehead with ashes.
Right.
That is the same type of a minor exorcism that they would perform. But it's kind of like anointing your head with oil or anointing like with holy water. It's just a blessing. Like it's a basic blessing.
It's also like a public display. It's not because that's what I would think. A minor is more public, but whereas a major, it's like you're kind of in a more private space, right? And
yes, and with a major, this is like what you would typically see in movies, although like a lot of the movies do not depict it very accurately. But obviously like the Catholic Church would have a priest. They would obtain permission to do it first. But they would be invoking the name of God, specifically Jesus Christ. They would, use the Mother Mary, the Archangel Michael. They would use crosses, holy water, and different types of holy relics within the exorcism itself.
So the biggest thing is, so when they say, the power of Christ compels you, so that when they were doing that in The Exorcist.
That was a major...
Well, no, I'm asking, is that something that they would normally say or do, doing that same motion? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I've never seen a major exorcism.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't either, and I would hope to never see one. But I would think.
I know that I know that they do. I don't know so much of today.
Well, probably not today.
If they still have the practice or not, but there was at one time a book that priest used that was specifically for exorcisms.
Interesting. We don't have to look it up. Clearly,
so that had like, obviously they would have particular, entries in there. And I don't know if like the power of Christ compels you is one of those things, but I mean, it would make sense. I mean, it's what they used in the movie.
Right.
And I think like every other movie has pretty much copied that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because like, I mean, when you are a Christian and you read your Bible, you know that demons fear the name of Jesus Christ. So when you say Jesus Christ compels you, the power of Christ compels you, the power of Christ compels you, and they're spraying the holy water, that is meant to give the demon fear, to drive it away. So it makes sense. But yeah, those are kind of the differences where, a minor might be a priest coming to your house and just putting oil above the doors and praying in your house. Like that would be a minor.
Yeah.
Now, if the priest is starting to pull out crosses and he's starting to invoke the name of God and the archangel Michael, and he's the power of Christ compels you,
and he's going at it,
and they're going at it, that's probably he's doing a major at that point.
Well, in the major, I mean, again, you wouldn't have a spectacle. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's more of a private, I wouldn't say moment, but it wouldn't be that many people in a room. You know what I mean? It would be like a few maybe, but you wouldn't see, hundreds of people standing outside waiting for this. The power of Christ compels you, and he just starts throwing water and shit at him. Like, no, that's not how this works.
No, I mean, it would be more of a private affair, and yeah.
Anyways, I know we butchered that a little bit.
So obviously, The Exorcist. I mean, this was based on William Peter Blatty's 1971 novel. It's obviously because it's the first of its kind. Really, I mean, in the way that they did it, it's become a template for many of the demonic possession films that have come out since then. And the movie depicts a 12-year-old girl who's possessed. It does include a number of common elements within the demonic possession films, such as a moment of normality before the possession takes hold, and then an authority figure who saves the possessed, which is Father Karras, I believe. Father Karras and, damn it, what's the other guy? Why can't I think of his name, John?
I don't know, Matt, because I haven't seen this movie, so I couldn't actually tell you, Matt.
Father Marin. There it is. I got it. Father Marin. So Father Marin and Father Karras are the kind of authority figures from the church that perform the exorcism. What I do find interesting, though, and I just learned this, I think today, actually, this movie was released December 26th, 1973.
So technically,
the day after
Christmas,
we celebrate. Technically, if you're a believer and you're a Christian, Christmas is December 25th, and we celebrate not just Christmas, but we celebrate the birth of Christ.
Right.
The very next day, we have this movie that is based on demonic possession that comes out in 73.
I mean, it's interesting, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? They didn't care. They were just like, you know what? That seems like a great date. Let's just throw it right there and just put it right next to it.
I mean, for a movie like The Exorcist, I mean, I think it completely makes sense. And if you want to really scare the shit out of people, the day after Christmas, when people are the most, basically the most happy and the most jolly, the day after Christmas, boom, right there, you got them.
I mean, now
we always aim for Halloween, and I think most people are expecting oh, it's October. There's going to be some scary fucking movies coming out this month. We're going to watch them.
I've seen it seems weird, but I've seen a bunch of. I don't know. Maybe this is just me and my way of thinking, but I've seen just a bunch of movies, whether they're scary, they're popping out at you, whatever. It doesn't matter what fucking time of the year. I mean, it could be a random.
But I think October you would expect it,
right? But I'm just saying
after Christmas,
no.
No, I think most people would not be thinking of oh, it's the day after Christmas. Let's go see a movie.
And not particularly one about let's say a demonic possession here, but I mean, no, I just think it's you're right. I mean, it's relevant. It's interesting that, they back then were just like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to make sure that we can scare the living shit out of somebody by doing this. And not only that, imagine if they're like, oh, I want to go see this movie, and they have no idea what the hell it's about. And then all of a sudden they're like, what the hell am I watching right now? And you're just what is this, man? You're telling me this person's possessed? What's going on here?
In 73, this movie, I mean, it made people sick. It made people leave the theater. I mean, this movie was, for its time, in some countries it was banned.
Not surprised.
Like
just like most movies, depending on.
But obviously, we have Linda Blair, Max Van Sydow, which, if you listen to a previous episode, we did mention him in one. Mr. Flash Gordon. He was the Asian enemy guy there. Yeah,
I didn't realize he was in Force Awakens.
Yeah, he was in the beginning part of Force Awakens. He also played Jesus in Greatest Story Ever Told, which is kind of interesting.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know.
But Max Van Sydow was Father Merrin. He played the priest in that.
Oh, lovely! Look at him.
So the movie, the demon that possesses Reagan is Pazuzu.
Pazuzu.
And then the book, which was William Peter Blatty, was inspired by a 1949 exorcism of Roland Doe. Deals with the demonic possession of a 12-year-old girl and her mother's attempts to win her back through an exorcism conducted by two priests. And the movie adaptation is faithful to the book, which itself has been commercially successful. And I believe it's made, obviously it's made.
Oh, it's made a lot of money.
It's probably made more than millions at this point.
Oh, I would, yeah. Easily.
Between sales and streaming and
all kinds of things. I mean, not only that, the fact that this book inspired, or basically I guess the book and then, of course, the movie. But like the fact that it was a real life event, back in the basically late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah, I think instead of a girl, like a 12-year-old girl, it was obviously Roland is a boy. So I think that was kind of the main difference was, the exorcism was a boy instead of a girl, but I think obviously
they wanted to change it up.
He made some changes and made it like a story. But what's interesting is like the adaptation is faithful to the book, and I've actually read the book, and I can tell you like the movie is pretty like 100%. Like
so if you think about it, Matt, because think about how most movies are made, right? So when you look at a book. Right. Usually, depending on each book, it could, like your book, right? So, you have like a 3-part, book potentially, right? So, like, if, you made a movie, typically it would skip a lot of shit, right? It would just kind of like jump around, and it wouldn't be like continuous. So the fact that
my book would be like a 50-minute movie.
Well, but if you think about it like this, right? So, like, the fact that this book. Right now, I can't remember exactly how long The Exorcist is. I'm pretty sure it's more than 2 hours if I'm taking a guess off the top of my head. But like, if it's that continuous from the book to the movie, again, how many books and movies actually like are connected really well?
Yeah, the adaptation is faithful to the book, which is awesome.
And there's not many movies that do that. Though.
You don't often see that, and. I've read the book, but I've also listened to the audiobook, which was narrated by William Peter Blatty, which was awesome.
Oh, that's
right. You don't see that every day either.
No, not even
where the actual author is doing the audiobook too. But
so, Matt, are you doing your own audiobook version?
Probably not.
Oh, come on! I want to hear your lovely voice talk about your book now.
But there was another movie that I thought was interesting. It's unrelated to The Exorcist, but it is kind of related, I guess, in a way. It's The Exorcists, plural. Not just The Exorcist, but it's The Exorcist.
It has nothing to do with the old movie, though.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the old movie other than, it does copy kind of the theme of demonic possession. This one was in 2023. And it's priest Father Patrick Ryland, who, interestingly enough, was Doug Bradley. And if you know anything about Doug Bradley, he was Pinhead in Hellraiser.
I did not know.
But in the movie, like, he had heart issues due to his work with the previous exorcisms that he did and needed to take medication, much like Father Merrin did in The Exorcist. But he explained in that movie that faith in God is centered in the heart. So that's where demons attack first. And it's the leading cause of death among exorcists. And Father Merrin in The Exorcist died from a heart attack. So I thought it was kind of like an interesting tie-in to both of those movies because, in the movie, there's a scene where, he gets done kind of doing this exorcism session and you can see him kind of starting to shake because his heart's kind of going nuts, and he's taking out his like little nitro, canister, and putting the nitro under his tongue. And this guy in this movie is kind of doing the same thing. Although I'm pretty sure the demon in the movie, the woman that was possessed,
right,
ends up killing him. He doesn't die of like a heart thing, but I just thought it was really interesting because it was kind of a cool tie-in where he was saying like, oh, heart issues are the leading death among exorcists, and then you think of, wait, Father Merrin died of a heart attack.
So I just find it interesting that when you have a movie that was back in 1973, okay, and then there's 40 years later in 2023.
Yeah.
They do the same thing, but then what they do is instead of calling it The Exorcist, they just put an S at the end of it, and they don't relate to each other. There's no universe connecting these two together. So I find it interesting how they did all this without it really correlating with
the movie. Basically, was the demon was able to possess different people, and what it was doing was there were 3 priests that were, I think there were like actually more than 3. I think there were 4 that were part of the story, and they were all kind of recruited because they were all the ones that have done previous exorcisms on this said demon before. So the demon basically brought them together and to try to kill all of them. Okay. So that was kind of the gist of the movie. So he was kind of one of the main priests that had the most experience. Because one was like a Baptist, reverend.
So my question is, so we're talking about this newer one, not the older one.
Yes, the newer movie, yes.
Okay. So
yeah, and so like you have kind of like all these priests, and I think only 2 of them really lived at the end of the movie.
I just find it like, I don't know. I just think it's interesting that they say it's not correlated from the old one, but it's like somehow in some ways.
Well, like I said, I mean, you have The Exorcist, which is kind of like you take the template, right? Like you have The Exorcist, which is, let's take the template or blueprint, if you will.
Hey, blueprints, love it.
You take the blueprint and you go, well, we want to make our own movie, but here's the blueprint. Like, let's apply it, and then we can make a change here, we can make a change there, make it our own story. And we know, like, hey, Father Merrin died of a heart attack, so let's, like, make this part of your story and make you have a heart problem, and it will tie in both of these stories, even though, like, The Exorcist and The Exorcist are not part of the same, like, universe or multiverse or whatever.
It's right? Like,
they're not part of the same thing, but they have the same, like, underlying blueprint.
Yeah, no,
which is kind of, I mean, it's really cool to have that tie-in of like, yeah, okay, that's really cool. Like, that's why it was kind of one of those ones I wanted to mention. But
okay, no,
there are a bunch of other films here, and some of these are really, really cool. And I know you probably haven't seen most of them.
I think probably there's, I would say probably about one that I haven't seen in a long time, but yes, I have at least seen one. And then there was one other one that, yes, we'll talk about later, that I know were honorable mentions, but I'm not going to go into that further because we got to talk about these ones first. But like,
so let me go with the oldest one on this list,
which I would assume is The
Omen.
Yes, I figured that much.
The Omen was 1976, and the film basically follows the plot of so there's a family, the Thorns, husband and wife. The wife has just given birth, but the child died. And there's another young child there that was unclaimed. And you get where I'm going with this one.
I'm definitely going with it, yep.
So they basically replace the child with this child who was unclaimed, and they name him Damien, and unbeknownst to this is like the wife that has no idea.
Yeah, because the father's like, you know what? Oh, we have a dead son. Oh, wait, there's another baby. I can just grab him real quick.
So the wife has no idea that their actual child had died. So she believes that Damien is 100% the one that she gave birth to, even though this kid is in fact the prophesied Antichrist, which is AKA the son of Satan. And throughout the movie, there's all these like series of mysterious events and violent deaths. Like one of the the maid's people, like literally jumps off the roof and hangs herself. Like it's just so like the things that happen in this movie are just so insane.
It almost sounds like a precursor to like Final Destination. It's like
this one. I mean, if you took Rosemary's Baby and served it as a prequel, I could see this being like
the prequel to this.
Okay, I could probably see that if she gave birth and this was like the baby that she gave birth to, and then in come the Thorns, who's like, well, we just lost our child. There's this child. We can just swap them out and be like, well, that one died. Sucks to be you, you know?
Well, no, that's the dad. The dad's a piece of shit, clearly, because no offense. I mean, the fact that you just didn't want to admit that your own son died and you didn't want to even tell your wife at that point is like, come on. And I'm like, I mean, I get the idea, but I'm like, dude, that's still pretty fucked up. I mean, at the end of the day.
They actually just did I think a prequel. It was on Hulu, I believe. The first Omen that came out this year. But there's also Damien Omen 2. That was in 78. Omen 3, The Final Conflict, which was in 81. And these movies, they say Final Conflict, and then there's an Omen 4, The Awakening, in 91. And then, of course, there's a Omen 2006 remake because they had to remake it.
And then, so this first Omen,
that was the prequel to the very first movie.
What?
So it basically it told the story of how Damien was born. That's what that movie is about. It basically tells the movie of what happened to like why that baby was born, and how the Thorns were basically chosen to
be the family
that the baby went to.
I'm just going to ask. So it actually explains on how their baby died originally.
Yes.
Oh, that's fucked up. That's wow.
Well, that's fucked up right there,
that's
man.
extremely fucked up. I'm just sorry. I mean, that's damn. And no offense.
It's pretty fucked up, man.
I mean, I see that. That's messed up. I don't know what to say.
So which one of these have you seen? I bet I can bet you I can guess it.
You know what? Go ahead. Tell me which one you think that I guessed, or which one.
Constantine.
Yes, that is right, because it's been a long time, but I have seen it. So, I'll go with it, because I'll just let you tell the rest, because at this point, like I said, I could just comment all I want. I'm just not going to have any knowledge on it. But Constantine, so fun little fact, yes, Constantine is also part of the DC universe, technically.
Was also on various shows on CW.
Now, granted, the guy who plays him, Keanu Reeves, yes, I still think he should show back up at some point as Constantine. I think he would do a phenomenal job as it. I don't remember the other guy that did it on the CW, but like he was like a British dude, but like he was on it. He had his own TV show too at one point. They did it for like a little bit, but then they brought him on Legends of Tomorrow as the same dude as playing Constantine. But anyways, the premise of the story is you have a guy named John Constantine. He's a cynical exorcist with the ability to perceive and communicate with half angels and half demons in their true forms, and also travel between earth and hell. So the biggest thing with this is like, It's weird when you see John Constantine do his exorcisms or just like do the stupid shit that he does, because some of it is weird, man. Like even in the CW shit, like you'll just see him do like, hey man, I need like 5 items that are the most randomest shit on the planet. It's like, yeah, I need some salt. I need that book over there. I need a cactus over there. I need like he'll just start naming shit. And he's like, hey, do you got it? Okay, cool. He's like, oh, you know what? I could just substitute or whatever.
Hey, can you give me some of that foam from that case over there?
Yeah. And then he just does it, and I'm like,
yeah.
How the hell do you do that? Like, it's amazing on what he does, though. But it's just. I
can say Peter, and I think I'm saying his last name right. Stormare. I think I'm saying the name right. You'd have to look him up to know like what he looks like. But the guy that played Lucifer in Constantine, I think by far is the best portrayal of like Satan or Lucifer.
Really?
In a movie thus far.
Okay, because I was going to say in a TV show, the TV show Lucifer.
Well, I mean, I think that was different because it wasn't like a serious portrayal. Like he was Lucifer, but there, it had its comedic moments. I mean, like I'm talking like 100% like Lucifer as a character. Yes, like that portrayal, like yes.
Okay, I mean,
100%. Now, Lucifer in the TV show, if you were saying, as far as a DC character, like that Lucifer.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if the Lucifer in Constantine and the Lucifer in the TV show were supposed to be the same character, no, that would not be the same.
No, I mean, yes. So what we're talking about, too, is if you don't know, the Lucifer TV show that was actually on Netflix, it's kind of weird. They're also tied into the whole CW like Arrowverse, like kind of because he actually does show up in one of the it's like crossover like episodes or whatever. Like he does show up randomly, but like I don't know if that's supposed to be the same, person. I guess if you want to say it could be. Whatever, but
I seriously doubt that it's the same. It's the same Lucifer, but the way that he played it in the movie. 100%. Like, yeah.
I mean, again, it's been so long, so I think I would have to probably just see and just kind of remember from both, just to kind of give it a really fair shot. But like,
yeah, I just think like the Lucifer that was in the TV show Lucifer was he had his quirky moments. He was funny. He was a smart ass. Like it was a different type of portrayal. Where in Constantine, like he was creepy. He was like you could just tell like. He wasn't funny or comedic. Like he was Satan. Like that. That's exactly what he was. I mean, he was evil, and that's exactly how he played it. And I think he was kind of the best portrayal of the character.
But anyways, I know we're talking about way too much on the Satan here, but like really the point of like Constantine, it wasn't just. It's kind of weird about his character. It's like, yes, he is a exorcist in that sense, but like he knows a lot about the mystical, kind of the, I don't know, the magical word. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like really, he knows a lot about this kind of stuff. It wasn't just like about like exorcisms and stuff. Like it's like he knows basically how to kill like all kinds of creatures and all different stuff. Yeah. But like, yes, he is known for this because yes, he does do exorcisms. He's done it multiple times. I'm pretty sure I want to say like in the beginning of the movie, like that's what he does. He's with like an Asian family, and he asked, like I said, he'll ask for like the randomest shit, and then he's like, okay, hold still. It's like a mirror. That's what it was. He was asking for a mirror, and he was trying to trap the demon inside of the mirror, and he throws it out the window, and you're like, the what?
Yeah.
It's just random. Like I said, it's just random stuff. And anyway.
All right, so I'm going to try to blast through at least the next one so that I can get to the Conjuring universe, because I think that one has a lot with it. So Insidious, which came out in 2010.
This one has, just like The Omen, has too many goddamn movies, and I think they need to stop.
There's a lot of movies within the Insidious like universe, and what's weird is like they're not in order, and this is where The Conjuring also does the same kind of thing. But it's Insidious really did something that was different as far as like some of these other movies because it used like this astral plane, and that's where kind of like the dead and these demonic figures kind of like were in, where we're on Earth and we're here on this plane,
right? But it's like the world between worlds,
right? It's kind of like the astral plane between this world and where we are right now. And it centers around a married couple whose boy, enters a comatose state and becomes a vessel for a variety of different demonic entities. And there's like one in particular that is, when the movie first came out and I saw it, I don't usually get scared at these kind of movies, but it's creepy. You see it and like you see him like, in the curtains or whatever. It's just kind of a creepy movie. But I do agree with you. I think after chapter 3, you probably didn't need to do the red door or the last key. Like you probably didn't need to do those. But like,
well, it's the hype.
You can watch Insidious, and then you're supposed to watch like chapter 3, and then you go to chapter 2, and then the red door is before everything else. So it's like, what the fuck? Like, why do I have to Google the order that I have to watch these things in?
Well, I could say the same thing about Marvel and DC and all that, but the thing is, though, is like when you start to look,
Conjuring is worse. Wait till I get to that one.
No, I understand, but the problem is with a lot of these horror movies is that they'll make a movie and then they're like, okay, let's make a prequel to the prequel, and then let's make a prequel to this thing, and then we're going to make it to the second movie, and then you're like, where the fuck do I start? Where should I have started from? Well, the beginning?
That's The Conjuring, and I absolutely love the Conjuring universe. Like the movies within the Conjuring universe are to me like when you're talking like demons or paranormal or whatever. Like I think that those ones are probably like the best on this list.
Hold on a second. You're telling me, so I understand this. So Conjuring, then you have Annabelle.
Yep.
Then you have The Nun. They're all part of the same thing?
Yep.
God damn. At least you have
even the Curse of La Llorona. I think I'm saying that right.
El Llorona or whatever. Yeah, I think El Llorona. Wait. Yeah.
That one is part of the universe, but it's kind of a separate movie. But yes, so the Conjuring universe is created by James Wan. And if you know anything about horror movies, like James Wan is the guy. Like,
oh yeah,
he is the guy. Like, if you want to make a horror movie,
ask him.
James Wan is the guy that makes like probably the best like movies right now.
In the last, I would say 20 years. Yes, that would be the guy you'd want to pick.
So most of the movies like follow Ed and Lorraine Warren. But in the first movie, it's in 1970. They're summoned to the home of Carolyn and Roger Perrin. The Perrins and their 5 daughters recently moved to a secluded farmhouse where there's a supernatural presence that made itself known. And then through the manifestations, they're kind of relatively benign at first, but it soon kind of escalates like we've always seen in movies. They get pretty horrifying, and then the Warrens kind of discover the house's really like macabre like history. But it does follow, all these movies like really just follow Ed and Lorraine's various investigation or cases. So right now you have The Conjuring 1, which right after it comes Annabelle. Annabelle in the movie is like a full doll, where the actual Annabelle is like it's a smaller, what the hell is the doll's name? Rickety Ann?
Oh,
Raggedy Ann.
Oh, Raggedy. Oh,
yeah. It's a Raggedy Ann or Raggedy Andy, whatever the doll's name is. Like that's the actual the doll itself. So I have one in my attic, by the way.
Oh, thank you for telling me. I'll never go in your fucking attic. Now, I want to mention this real quick before you go on further. There are some things, I'm going to say this right now, and I've told Matt, the biggest things that I absolutely hate. Absolutely, I will say it. I will until I die. I hate. Yes, I'm going to say I hate dolls, man. Those things, depending on the old porcelain dolls, oh my God, those motherfuckers are creepy as hell, and I would shatter the shit out of them. I'd like, so when little girls would have that shit, especially like, in their bedrooms and shit, and they're like, the really big old eyes. I'm like, I will, bro. I would burn the whole damn room. But anyways, like yes, dolls in that sense. I would say even like clowns and like, you know, certain other things. There's just certain things that just like you don't do, man. And this is the kind of shit that I'm talking about. So when I knew like Annabelle came out and stuff like that, I was like,
oh yeah, Annabelle and Annabelle Creation, and then there's Annabelle Comes Home. So there's like the kind of the trilogy of those.
So you have Annabelle, then you have Annabelle Creation, then you have Annabelle Comes Home.
Yeah,
I thought she was already fucking home, man.
Well, you know,
clearly she's not home yet. I don't know.
But yeah, you do have Conjuring 1, Conjuring 2,
The Nun.
You have Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It, which is one of the newer ones. But you also have The Nun and The Nun 2. And there's a new movie that's slated for a 2025 release, which is The Conjuring Last Rites, which is going to be the final film of the franchise.
Really?
Set in, I believe, April 2025.
So the question is this. When it comes down to like The Conjuring, Annabelle, The Nun, all that stuff, do they actually correlate with one another? Do they like mention certain things in one of the movies that kind of helps with the next movie, or
yes.
like, you know, okay. So there are at least some things that help.
A lot of the events, like I think Conjuring 2 features the nun.
Okay, so
when the nun actually came out, that gives you the backstory, because the nun actually happens way before all of the Conjuring movies.
Okay.
So it gives you the idea of like, you know, how the entity like chose the nun form and where it became and like how it got to the point of Conjuring 2. You know, Annabelle, I think, is seen in the Conjuring movies. So yeah, there are correlations. So then you have Annabelle Creation, which obviously is the creation of the doll and how it got possessed to begin with.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like all the movies do correlate together. Like the Devil Made Me Do It is one of those. I mean, all the Conjurings are different cases that the Warrens win on. So
okay,
are the movies, sensationalized a little bit? You know, do they elaborate a little bit too far into the supernatural? You know,
so
they probably do.
So are all these movies technically? Because I know it says like in 1970, blah blah blah. You know, are they all technically based in the 70s? Like all these movies, or are they all like kind of scattered through like a 10-year period, or like, you know, a 20-year period, or, you know, like does it go up to a certain point?
I think they're all over the place.
Oh, so that's even worse. Okay.
I mean, all the Conjurings kind of are around the same time, because obviously, you know, Ed is dead now, and I think Lorraine if she's still alive, she's near death.
So probably with this last one being slated, she might make an appearance for like.
But all of these movies existed. You know, they're set in a time when they were still actively investigating. Where right now it's just Lorraine, and she's too old to be doing what she's doing. So
then I'm assuming she has like help that she's asked.
I think she's probably just living at home, just living it up at this point. Like,
I don't know. Well,
I don't think she's doing any fucking exorcisms
well, no, but
or investigating.
And who's taking over for them is what I mean.
When we talk about Amityville,
oh great,
Ed and Lorraine were the ones that investigated that house. The real life house. Like they investigated that real life case. That was Ed and Lorraine.
So so The Conjuring is based off that movie too? Like the Amityville Horror?
I think the Amityville Horror doesn't mention the Warrens at all, but I believe in one of the movies it does mention Amityville.
Okay. Good to know. But okay.
One of my favorite, it's really a horror comedy. I mean, it's a B-rated horror comedy movie, but easily like it's right at the very, very top, which is Evil Dead. I love Evil Dead.
Yes,
I absolutely love these movies. Like there's 1 and 2, Army of Darkness, and then the TV show
But is it really based off of demonic possessions?
It actually was going to be named Book of the Dead. But yes, I mean it's you have a character, you have characters in the very first movie, and they read from a book that's made of not leather, but it's actually like flesh.
Oh, lovely.
But it's the Book of the Dead. It's the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, which is what it's called in the movie. And, when it's read from, it awakens basically these demonic forces. And yes, they do possess the living. Okay. So, I mean, there is that, but they call them Deadites in the movie. And then in that series, they're Deadites.
Deadites.
But yeah, I mean, it fits in the theme because Evil Dead is basically like this kind of demonic force, and one by one it collects like souls. So when the demonic force is able to you see one by one, like they're in this like secluded cabin, and they get injured. It kind of seeps in, and then they're like possessed, and they kind of go crazy. And yeah, it's such a crazy ass movie. Like, if you haven't ever seen Evil Dead, I don't know what fucking rock you've been living under, but it's just one of those movies. Like, you just have to see it. I mean, it does get ridiculous, and with the various little claymation things that they have going on, but it is so fucking amazing. It is really one of those like iconic B-rated horror movies. Like, you just have to watch it. And there was actually a movie that came out in 1967 that was very, very similar. And this is what Sam Raimi kind of used as inspiration for Evil Dead. It was called The Equinox. And it's a journey into the supernatural. The film featured a leather-bound book that opened a portal to another world, and the film used similar techniques to Evil Dead, including swirling smoke, spinning books, and ominous voiceovers.
Yeah, and I know, like, I knew about the video game from back in the day. Yes,
there's actually there's a newer one.
Oh, is there a newer one?
Yeah,
I didn't know there was a newer one.
Yeah, there's a newer one. It's kind of in the same context of like Friday the 13th and the Texas Chainsaw, where it's like a multiplayer thing where like you're.
Oh, I think okay. I think I remember now. I think you mentioned it to me a while back.
It's newer. It's not really that great, but
and that's why it sucks, man.
But yeah, it does have a bunch of sequels. Even though Army of Darkness became kind of the redheaded stepchild of the Evil Dead series, but the TV show where. Ash is an older Ash in the TV show.
That's a newer one, right? We're talking about?
Yeah. It's a Stars, I believe it was on.
Yep.
The video game. And then there's a live musical show that I actually saw.
Oh, did you now?
We actually went to that. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was what, you and your wife, right? Danielle or somebody else? Who was it?
I think it was Tate, actually.
That's right. Yeah, that was what? It must have been a year ago or something.
I think it was about a year ago.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah. Yeah, we went to that one. It was actually pretty good.
Huh. Well, what do you know?
It actually, like, we sat too far away, and we were kind of like, the stage pointed this way, so we were on this side of it. But if you were sitting like right in front, like you needed to have almost a poncho because a lot of the props and stuff that they use during the musical.
Oh yeah, it was probably flying right at you.
Like sprays blood and all kinds of stuff. Like, so, I mean, it's basically just water, like colored water.
But my point is, if you were going to basically, dress up like really fancy, that would probably not be the show to go to, right?
No. I don't think you really dress, you don't dress dressy enough to go to Evil Dead the musical. But
I would just say
it was pretty good. I mean, it was a good show. It was a good show. Okay. We have a couple more.
Hold on. Let's get this straight. These are more honorable mentions.
Well, these ones are not so much like, at least the top two are not so much where people are possessed, but where like objects or like houses or places are possessed.
Yeah, and I mean, shit. There is a movie that I could have just mentioned. It was a kids movie, but go ahead.
So this one, I mean, the very first one that I'll mention is the earlier one, John, which is the Amityville Horror, which is the very first movie was 1979. And this had James Brolin and Margot Kidder.
So, yes, James Brolin. So he's the father of Josh Brolin.
Yes.
Who played who, Matt, in Marvel?
Thanos.
There you go. I just wanted to make sure he remembers. That's all. And, hold on, who was the other one he played too in Marvel?
Well, we don't count that one, but Cable.
Yes, that is true. See, I wanted to test him. I just had to ask him.
So yeah, this movie was basically like, it's your typical, the house is evil. In this particular movie, though, it was a real life case that Ed and Lorraine investigated where, the James Brolin, who was the father, the husband, had said that basically the house was evil and it was telling him to kill his family. And, I believe he had shot and killed like his kids and his wife. And, he's blaming it on the house being like, it was evil. It was making him do it. It was like talking to him. And this was like a real case, even though, basically they had a lot of kickback saying like it was kind of like a fake thing that they were doing. Like Ed and Lorraine's investigation was not real. Like it was fake. Like their investigation was fake.
Yeah, I mean, well, I would say this. The movie I was just trying to think about, and that's why I had to look it up real quick, was, and this is why I said it's a kid's movie, but it was Monsters House, right? It was a kid's movie, basically kind of describing how, basically it was a bunch of kids on like Halloween. They just like, they go up to this house and all of a sudden like the house just starts like moving in like weird ways. And basically the owner of the house is this old guy, but like he, marries this basically woman that was like, I don't know, probably had to be like 600 pounds or whatever, but like she was a really big woman. She dies, but like in a very horrific way, but like somehow the body possesses this house and is like, like can almost talk and do certain things that the owner never really notices because he's just kind of like walking around doing whatever. But the point is, I guess, is like, how like you're just saying how this is more of kind of I would say probably more extreme where the house is literally telling this person to do the killings and to do all these things.
I mean the house is literally like there's evil, like there's an evil presence within the house itself. Like a demon has like literally possessed the house itself. So it's not like, there's a person possessed or whatever. Like, no, the house is like evil in itself. Like the demon has become the actual house. And I mean, it's a really iconic house. I'm not sure exactly where it's located, but that's the house that has like the two really like weird triangular windows in the attic or in the upstairs.
Yeah.
So the house kind of almost looks like it has a face. As you can imagine with this movie, there are several sequels to this movie. And they get worse and worse and worse and worse as you keep going down the line. I mean, you have Amityville 2, 3, 4, The Awakening, The Reawakening. It's like, can you guys just fucking stop? Like,
shut the hell up and get on with the day. But like, you should have stopped with one.
And there's like Amityville Horror 3D because we need it in 3D because we need the flies buzzing around our head as we're watching the movie.
The best part yet, they remade it.
They remade it, and you know who stars in it, John?
It's Ryan Reynolds,
Mr.
baby.
Ryan Reynolds, baby.
Hey, great actor, but I don't know if he should have been the one playing in this movie. I don't know.
I actually saw the remake before I saw the original.
Oh, now what did you think of the remake versus the original?
Well, being one that I did not know there was an original, I don't mind the remake.
Okay.
But seeing the original, like, it's like, it's one of those things. Like, I don't necessarily think Margot Kidder is the greatest actress on the planet.
I mean, they probably didn't have many choices back then, depending on who they were.
Probably not. I mean, I think James Brolin was great. I just like, I don't know, like, you see her in Superman, right? Like, you see how she acts in that movie.
Oh yeah.
And in this movie, it's like I just don't really like her style of acting. But like,
I mean, it came out the same year you were born.
Well, that doesn't matter.
I mean, it matters to me because I just wanted to let you know. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
But I don't mind the remake at all. I mean, I think it was fine. I mean, say what you will. I mean, it tells the same fucking story, so it really doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. And then you got Poltergeist. Sorry,
Poltergeist. Yes, that had 3 sequels. Again, that was kind of the same idea. Like the house was kind of like there were. That one's a little bit harder to explain than Amityville because it wasn't like the house necessarily was possessed, but it was like they needed Marianne, who was the little girl with the blonde hair.
Okay, always the little girl here.
I want to say almost it had the same kind of idea of Insidious, with these spirits kind of in this like different plane. They were in like this different, multiverse or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Astral plane, whatever. But they needed Marianne to bring them to the light.
Okay. I mean, I don't know.
But all the shit that they would do, I mean, it was basically like a poltergeist would be like your demonic. Like you could say like, oh, we have ghosts in the house. Like it randomly closed doors. Like, that's great. When you have a poltergeist, like that's saying like you have a demonic presence in your house, and that can actually like what it does is it actually attaches to you. So if you leave said house and go to a different house, it will follow you, and then that house will be haunted. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, either way, you're screwed.
It's really different. But that one also had 3 sequels, and then in 2015, guess what?
Decided to be made.
Remake, baby.
I mean, no. No. Hold on. No. We don't say remake.
Remake, baby.
No, we don't say remake. What is it, Matt?
Well, it's not a reboot.
We say
it's not a reboot. I mean, they didn't reboot it. They remade it.
I mean, I understand they remade it, but I guess you could call it a reboot because they rebooted the damn franchise again by remaking the damn film.
Do you remember any of the scenes from Scary Movie when they were trying to? Because there's a few scenes in Scary. I don't know if it's like 1 or 2.
I think it. Well, which film are you trying to like talk about? Like in Scary Movie. Like those particular scenes.
It was one of those ones. I think it was like the clown scene.
That was the second one. It was definitely the second one.
In the bedroom, because in Poltergeist, like there was that scene where the clown.
Was it really with the clown?
Yeah, it was a clown.
Like same style or like same kind of.
I don't know if it was the same. If it was the same exact one, but like in Poltergeist, like there was a clown, and like it would basically do kind of what Annabelle would do. Like the entity would like possess it, and it would like move around, and like the arms like stretched out, and actually was choking with the kid that was in the movie.
Okay.
In Scary Movie, I think it's 2.
Yes, it's that one's funny. That one is extremely hilarious.
That one is extremely hilarious because you have Ray, who's kind of like the gay, but if you call him gay, he's like, I'm not gay. Like
he's like, I'm straight, man.
Yes. But you have this clown, and all of a sudden, like, it's not his arms that's stretching out. No. It's a giant penis that's stretching, and it like, it does something, and he's like, stop tickling me, But like, it's just,
there's a lot more to it than that. But yeah,
it's so hilarious because like you think like it's like choking him and it's gonna kill him, and then he's like, oh, hold on, wait for rain.
He's like, wait. He's like, oh,
and then this clown's like, oh.
No, because the problem is literally in that same exact scene earlier, Ray basically gets attacked, like we were saying, by the clown, and like does the same faces, but then like it all of a sudden you just see them switch roles.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what is going on right now? Like why is Ray doing this?
It is trying to fight to get away from him. It's really hilarious.
I would say out of all the scary movies though, I saw, because it's funny, I saw the first one.
1, 2, and 3 were the best.
Oh yeah.
When the
bad.
Wayans signed off on not doing anymore.
Yeah, that's
like when they stopped doing 4 and 5. Like that's when it 5 was just. I watched the whole movie and I was like, I didn't even laugh.
I didn't know, honestly, man. I didn't even watch 4 or 5, and I hope and pray to God if they ever do a scary movie again, I hope it's going to be with them again.
Have you seen A Haunted House?
Oh,
there's a haunted house on a haunted house too.
Yeah,
where he, it's basically like the Wayans, but they do like almost a Paranormal Activity.
Yeah,
and it's fucking hilarious, dude. It's so funny.
I think I might have to actually watch it. I didn't actually get a full chance to watch it. I think I watched parts of it, but like I never watched.
So funny. It's so funny.
Okay.
So honorable mention is Child's Play or Chucky as a character, and he gets the honorable mention basically because there is possession with voodoo, and you could easily say, with Child's Play, it was Damballa. That was kind of the spirit, the voodoo spirit that he was worshiping, and you have Charles Lee Ray, who was the actual guy.
Which I believe, but he was just a serial killer, right? Like in the movie.
He was your diabolical serial killer guy, and he worshipped Damballa. He was basically a voodoo type of god that they worshipped. Like I told you before we started recording, like I think one deity's god is another person's demon. You know what I mean? Right. So whether you want to call him a god or a demon,
that's on you.
But yeah, in the movie, he runs into a toy store, and in this toy store there just happens to be a ton of these dolls, good guy dolls.
Right.
And he's already shot, he's already dying, and he does this like voodoo chant to basically transfer his soul into the doll in hopes that he can transfer out of the doll into another host.
Right, but right.
But then he ends up getting sold to this mother and given to Andy, and then he reveals himself to Andy. And then with the given rules of that particular voodoo spell that he did, he can only do the spell to the first person that he reveals himself to. So he is stuck until he can transfer his soul over to Andy, which is the whole point of the movie.
Well, technically, if we're talking about the very, very first Child's Play, then yes, actually the mother, if I'm not mistaken, is the same mother who plays in Seventh Heaven, right? If I can't remember her exact name, but you know who I'm talking about?
Well, it's Elizabeth Shue.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember the actress's name, but no, I actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think there was one night at Farnham. I do remember this. I think Matt decided, because I told him, I said, I literally I despise Chucky. And he's like, oh, even better. We're going to watch a movie. I don't remember which one it was. I could have been the first one. I can't remember which one we watched, but I remember sitting there and he was just like, why don't we watch this movie together, man? And we literally sat there and we watched the entire thing. And I said to myself, I fucking hate him right now. I'm going to kill him. Because I told him, I said I didn't want to watch it. He's like, oh no, we're going to make you get over your fears real quick. And I'm like, this just intensifies my fears and I really don't want to watch this shit anymore. So, no, of course, Matt, just makes me more scared of a fucking doll personally. And that's fine. It's whatever. That's why I haven't watched any of those movies since.
I'm going to buy you a Chucky doll.
Did I ever tell you what I would ever do if Chucky, the real Chucky, ever came? Did I ever tell you?
I don't know if you did.
Actually, I think I did. And I think you started laughing at this. So if that motherfucker, okay, I'm going to say it just like that. If he decided to come at me, okay, for sure.
Are you going to vape in his face?
I might just see if he can smoke about it. No. I'm like, yeah, blow some smoke, jerk. No, so I told you, I said, one, I would say I would make sure that he would be burning. First off, I would chop him up. Here's what I do. I chop him up. I would then burn him. I'd make sure that the ashes were they could be blessed by a priest for all I care. Okay. Make it like whatever. Then what I would do is I'd go down to Cape Canaveral down in Florida and be like, hey, guess what? I need you to put this box inside of your aircraft, put it into outer space, okay? And then I tell him, hey, why don't you just send another rocket from let's say the space station and send his ass all the way to fucking to the sun. If he doesn't survive that shit, or if he does survive, I'll be very fucking surprised. Because this motherfucker in every goddamn film somehow magically comes back every single time you kill him. I'm like, you got to be really creative with this guy. Make sure that his ass is way out of here. I would go that extreme. I don't care. I would make sure that he was dead. I told you this, and I said I would. You ever gave me that doll, I would throw that fucker away. I'd be like, guess what? That was money that should have never been spent.
Yeah.
Should have used it for something else.
Yeah. But anyways, I mean, that's kind of our episode, and we hope you enjoy another one of our October scary, spooky episodes.
Ooh, no, I'm just joking. No, I mean, I appreciate you guys. I know you probably like me hearing talking about how a grown man is just afraid of basically a plastic fucking doll, you piece of shit. No, look, guys, there's certain things about Halloween that's great. You're just a fucking pussy. That's don't even. Fucking pussy. Okay, fine. I see how you are, you motherfucker. No, I just don't like it. I told you what I would do to it, and I just would throw it the fuck away. But anyways, guys, we appreciate you. We love how you guys are hopefully tuning in, and hopefully with the next episode, we're just going to keep it up. We're going to keep it going, and especially with Halloween, coming around the corner, we're just trying to make sure that you guys have all of your Halloween information, and all the crazy shit.
Yeah, just start getting excited for this contest, and we're ready to get these sticker packs mailed out to you guys, and
let's get
going with it.
I know. Let's just fucking get this over with. But anyways, guys, until next time,
stay geeky.